8,000 options contracts on 4 different options. What do they mean? Because they were all done at just 40 minutes left until market closed at 3:23 p.m. Today is May 11 and market is closed at this time, but we wanted to let everybody know that we detected these unusual options and what it means and analyze this trade and then show you how we are trading this. So this is for Zillow, ticker symbol Z, and this is for the 40 strike calls and the 40 strike puts for the May 19s and the June 16s. So without further ado, let's get right to the options chain. When we look at the May 19s, you'll see here this 8,000 at the volume here. But you'll also see that the open interest is 11,000. Same here on the call side, 11,000, open interest, volume 8,000. So what we think is going on here is that they are closing these orders up because it's 8 days away. It's almost expiring. And so once they close this up, they essentially opened up new orders. And so this is called rolling the contracts out to further dated options at 36 days away. And so you'll see these 8,000 over here being opened because it's much greater than the open interest here at only 40. Same here on the put side. 8,000 over here, and there were only 2,000 that were opened. So these are opened orders. And what did they mean? Well, we think they had sold the 40 strike puts and bought the 40 strike calls as opening orders. And when they do that, you analyze that trade. This is a synthetic bullish option strategy. It gains as the price is going to go up on the x-axis, and it'll be profitable because it is above this profit loss on 0 on the y-axis. Anything above that is profitable. Anything below that is loss. So if the price goes down, Zillow is at $45. If it goes down, it will be a loss. So this is essentially like owning stock. It's like a stock replacement. So you'll see here when we look at the Greeks, you'll see it has 100 delta. So if you know that if you have 100 shares of these stocks, you'll get 100 delta. For each share, it's 1 delta. So this is why it's called essentially a stock replacement strategy. Instead of using up the $4,500 that you would need to buy 100 shares, they're instead using this strategy that will cost slightly less. And so keep in mind they also need to use some capital, maybe even margin. By selling this put, they're basically saying they're willing to own 100 shares at $40. So that is 4,000 capital required. And since we saw that they had 8,000 of them, you multiply by 8,000, and then this is a $32 million trade that was required. This is how much capital, buying power needed to put on this trade. So very large institutional investor on this trade that is taking advantage of using options and rolling it. And so we are going to analyze our trade and based on these unusual options and set that trade up. So here is our trade to analyze. This is what we're doing instead. We'll start adding more contracts to this position, but we started off with the 45 strikes. You'll see here our position here. You'll see here also the extrinsic value is close to 2 at 1.99, so we wanted to sell that And then we wanted to buy the next week's at 43 days. We bought the 40 strikes here. So, and also the extrinsic value is only 0.82. So by selling the 1.99 and buying the 0.82, we have a net credit in extrinsic value, which is what we like because we don't want to pay extra for options. Extrinsic value is the actual cost of the option. So by buying this, we created a diagonal spread, but it's a type of spread that has a built-in risk management already in place. As you can see here, Zillow at $45.75. Our break even is all the way back here. You'll see that expiration. This is our break even because this is where the zero line of the profit loss meets with our graph here. Right here is our break even. So Zillow can drop all the way to about 43.71 at expiration of June 16, and we will not be at a loss. The reason why is because there is this positive theta bringing our trade to profitability. And so you'll see here our theta is positive. So that is one of the reasons why we like this trade. And since when we look at that break even 43.7, right, and we look at the charts, so because Zillow has just dropped 3% and has been dropping for the past 4 days, it could continue to drop, right? We don't necessarily know that. And so in case it continues to drop, right, at 43.7, about around here, 43.71, we can set an alert. If it drops below this, we can have an alert to close our trade. And so that's this trade and how we are going to trade this, because as we saw, this unusual options, they had rolled it from a previous month, the one that's expiring, to the next month. And so they are trying to buy more time for this trade to become become profitable. So they rolled their trade out to buy more time on this. They had closed that position to gain that extra time. So they were wrong at one point in time for this coming month, but they are still doubling down and continuing to roll it out to try to be profitable. And so because they were wrong at one point, and because we know that they closed that trade off, they bought those options, especially the puts. You'll see here, for the maze here, they are buying this to close it out, and then by buying it to close it out, they then also bought they sold the 40 strike calls also to close that out as well. And so by rolling this out, we think they were, whenever they put on that position, we don't really know what their loss was in that case, but we just know that they are rolling it out, buying more time because they believe in this stock very strongly and putting that $32 million still on this trade. So that is our analysis of Zillow. If we zoom out more, and we'll see here that we are close to a consolidation point around this level here. Also, this is another resistance support level here as well, back in April, right? And so it could bounce from here just technically, or it might break through and drop further down. We don't know that, and so that's why We wanted to set a break even here down below around here to give us more room for it to go. But since we have some time, we'll give it time to also play out to see if this is the if it becomes profitable. Okay, so hope this was helpful, and comment below on what you think about Zillow stock, ticker symbol Z, and smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified whenever we see unusual options like this one that happened just less than an hour ago. All right, take care, everybody, and good luck.